Hi there, welcome to 9th and 10th channel of BYJU'S. I'm your teacher Ankita and I welcome you all in today's very special class where we will be discussing about the 20 most important questions from the political science for your midterm examination. It's the Exam Edge series everyone where we are making sure that you are exam ready. So please make sure you stay with us till the end because we are completing two important very chapters from the political science, that is power sharing and federalism. So what we'll be doing in the session, I will let you know in just few more seconds. But please everyone, make sure to hit the like button for the video. And if you're new here, do take a moment and subscribe to the channel. With that note, let's get started. We have something really very special for you and that is the homework heroes. So in this series of the Exam Edge, we will be giving you the homework question. And after every class, right, you can write down the answer in the comment section below and your answer will be getting featured in the next class. Interesting, right? And that will be helping you to revise. And these questions will be very important questions. So please make sure you write the answer in the comment section below. On that note, let's talk about what are we doing in today's class. We have two very important chapters in the political science. We have power sharing and federalism. First, we'll be dealing with the chapter which is power sharing, right? And definitely we have something very, very special for you. So, in today's session, what we have planned for you is that we'll have a very quick chapter revision or the summary. Then, of course, in between, I'll be telling you the important topics that are there from where usually the question comes in your examination. And at the end, we have the important questions. So, we'll be discussing the chapters first and then we'll be taking a look at the questions. So, I hope that all of you are ready. We have the MCQs, we have 2 markers, we have 3 marker, 5 marker, and of course, we have the case-based study question also. So, we have kind of covered up everything for you. So please make sure you stay with us till the end, watch the video till the end. Do share this video with your friends also. And on that note, let's get started. The first topic that we have, which is very, very essential and very, very important from the exam point of view, is a case study of the Belgium. Let's take a look what we have over here. So, if we talk about the situation in the Belgium, we divide their region into 2 regions. We have the Flemish region, right? That particular region has a population of 59% which speak the language Dutch. On the other side, we have the Wallonia region, right, which has a population of 40% which speak the language French. So that was a condition. Now, because of this difference, definitely there were a little bit tension between the people who are living there, right, the Dutch-speaking people and the French-speaking people. Now, this tension arose between 1950s to 1960s, and of course, there was the more and more tension amongst the people also. But the situation was a little bit different in the Brussels, which is the capital city. Now, the situation in the capital city was entirely different. If you look over here, only 20% of the people were speaking the Dutch language, where the majority of them speak the French language. 80% of the individuals of the population were speaking French in the capital city, which is the Brussels, and 20% were speaking the Dutch. So we can clearly see there's a lot of difference, and because of this difference, there's a tension between the population. And to tackle this, to resolve this tension, what the Belgium leader did was very, very important. They have lot of amendment, lot of changes happened in the constitution for approximately 4 times. Now let's see the important points that they made the changes into. Number of Dutch and the French speaking ministers in the central government is equal. So they have the equal members of the Dutch speaking people and the French speaking people. Many power of the central government was given to the state government. Again, it's very, very important. Third important point, the capital city has a separate government with the equal representation of from the each community. So we have the population difference over here. So in the capital city, we have a separate government. So these are the important points that we should remember about the case study of Belgium. Moving ahead, let's talk about the case study of Sri Lanka. Now, in the case of Sri Lanka, we saw that there were a lot of difference again. So they have 74% of the population which speak the official language, which is Sinhala, and 18% were speaking the Tamil. Apart from that, there are other languages that they speak, and they have different other religions also. So after the independence in the year 1948, Sinhala community, because they were there in the majority, they formed the government. Sinhala language, right, became the official language of Sri Lanka, and of course, unfortunately over there, the government favored the majority only for the government jobs and etc. This definitely led to a little bit of tension. Apart from that, they protected and fostered the the religion also, which is the Buddhism at that particular time in Sri Lanka. Now what happened due to these differences, the relation between the Tamil and the Sinhalese was not that great. It became a little bit strained. They had a lot of civil wars, right? Led the civil wars between the two communities, and due to which there were loss of lives, loss of properties, and there were a lot of disturbance in the life of the people. Right, so we have this important information over here, everyone, and the last information that we have talks about that the Sri Lankan army defeated the LTT, right? Of course, this was a different community which was there, a force that was being formed, right, because they want to have their another separate nation. So this is what we have in the case study of Sri Lanka. So please make sure everyone you read it correctly. Now moving ahead, let's talk about why the power sharing is desirable, or why the power sharing is so important. We have a very two important points too. Everyone do take a screenshot of this. It's very crucial from the exam point of view. Directly 2 marks question can come from here. So there are two important points. First, of course, is the prudential. What is the meaning of it? Actually, this thing, if we have the power sharing, it actually helps to reduce the possibilities of the conflict between the groups. If the power is being shared, what will happen? The conflict between the two communities can be easily reduced, right? The second point is the moral. Now what happens? Power sharing is a very spirit of, it's a real spirit of the democracy. The government which is formed, right, the legitimate government, one in which the citizens can participate and can acquire stakes in the system of, definitely it's a government where, right, where people can question what is happening, they can give their opinion. So these 2 points become super important, and that is the reason why we say that power sharing is desirable. Moving to the next topic, everyone, here we have, when we talk about the power sharing, we have the distribution of the power. The word power sharing means we have the power and we are sharing it with others. So we have 2 different forms. Let's first talk about the horizontal distribution of power. In the horizontal distribution of power, we have the legislative or the legislature, we have executive and the judiciary. So over here, the legislation, right, will make the laws, right? The policies that are very good for the citizen of the country are made over here. Then of course we have the executive that will make sure that these policies are being acted and are being followed. And judiciary will keep a check whether these things are happening or not. So basically, what we saw over here, the power is kind of distributed. It's not there with just one single individual or with one single party. The other we have over here, right, if we talk about over here, is the vertical distribution, of the power. Now, the vertical distribution of power, what we have over here is the central government share the power with the state government, and the state government, of course, share the power with the panchayat or the municipal body. So what we can see from the vertical is that we have the power sharing. We have the central power which has the majority of the power. Then of course the power is shared with the state government and then with the local government also. So we see that vertically the power is being shared. This is very important. Both of these topics are very important from the exam point of view. So please make sure to put a tick mark over here. Moving ahead, everyone, now that we have discussed about the distribution of the power horizontally and vertically, we have something very important terms that we have. So let's take a look over here. First is the separation of power. Power is shared amongst the different organs of the government, such as the legislature, executive and judiciary. We've just now discussed with over here, right? The horizontal distribution of the power, or we can call it as a separation of power. Then we have the federal government. Now what we have, the power is shared among the government's different level. We have the union government, state government and the local government all together. Then we have the coalition government, where power is shared amongst the political parties, pressure group and the different movements. Last but not the least, we have the community government, where the power is shared among the social group. Now in this particular social group, we have to remember that the more emphasis goes on the language and the religion of the group. So with this, what we can understand that power sharing is very essential. It actually reduces the conflict between the communities. It's very helpful for the smooth functioning of the country, and there's a distribution of the power across. So with this, everyone, we are done with the first chapter, that is the power sharing. Now what we have is the next chapter, which is federalism, everyone. Now let's take a look over here. And we are starting with the definition of the federalism. What is federalism? It is a system of the government. Everyone, it's a very important definition. Do take the screenshot of it and do keep a check of it, right? It's a system of the government in which the power is divided. If I have the power, it is divided between the central authority and the various different other units that are there, right? So again, federalism, what we have, we are not holding the power all together. In the previous chapter of power sharing, we have discussed that in the federal country, what we saw, we have the union government, we have the state government, and then we have the local government. So this is very, very important. Now that we are clear with what is federalism is, let's understand more about it by understanding the features of federalism. So here we have the features of the federalism. First important point, everyone, this can come as it is in your examination. So I'm making it a star over here and writing IMP. Super, super important. Before we start, everyone, do take the screenshot of it. 1, 2, 3, and I hope that all of you have taken the screenshot of it. The first point talks about that there are 2 or more level of the government, right? So in the federalism, we will have either 2 or more level of the government where the distribution is happening. Different tier governments will govern the same citizen, but each tier has its own jurisdiction. So as a citizen of our country, for example, if I am the citizen of the India, the country rules are also applied on me and the state government rules are also applied on me. So this becomes very, very important. The existence of each tier of the government is constitutionally guaranteed. Now we have this guarantee from the constitution, like what are the rules we have and what are the things that we have a citizen has to do and what are the rights that we have. The fundamental provision cannot be changed by one level of the government. It requires the consent of the both level of the government. And now this is very, very important that if there has to be change in any of the system fundamentally, right, that are related to the fundamental rights and some of the core values, right, those changes cannot happen just by the central government. There need the approval, or there is the requirement of the approval from the state government also. This has become very, very important. Then we have court have a right to interrupt the constitutional and the power of different level of the government, right? Now the constitution has a right to interpret the court, right? Basically the courts have a lot of power over here. Clear? They can talk about the constitution and the power of the different level of the government altogether. Then the source of the revenue of each government are specified and to ensure the financial financial conditions. So of course there has to be the revenue, right, and of course at each level it is kind of specified and mentioned. And the last point, the federal system safeguards and promote the unity of the country. This is very, very important, everyone. So these are the features of the federalism. Please make sure you read them carefully from your NCERT. We have caught up the every point, but if you need to write something extra, definitely take a look at your NCERT for sure. Moving ahead, everyone, we'll be talking about the different types of federalism that we have. We have the 2 types of federalism. First, of course, the coming together and then holding together. Let's discuss first about the coming together federalism. What happens in coming together is a very simple thing. When the states decide to pool their powers, right, and retain their identity at the same time. So the countries or the states are saying that, you know what, we will contribute, but we will still have our own identity. We will still have our own power. So this is the coming together. All the states will have the equal power. It's not that the center will have more power. No. The center and the states will have the equal power. States are not weak as compared to the center. Okay. Even though we always say that center is there at the power, right? But all the states have the equal power and center is definitely not higher as compared to the states, and states are not weak at all in front of the center. They have the equal powers. We have some of the important examples, everyone. Examples are really essential. So please make sure you remember them. Examples are USA, Switzerland and the Australia. Then let's talk about the holding together of federalism, right? We have over here, I'll just move aside. Take a screenshot of this, everyone. Holding together of what we have the country decides to divide its power. Now, in the holding together, the country decides that we will divide its power, right, between the constitutional state right, and nation and the central government. Now here in the holding together, there's a distribution of the power, right, in the constitution state, national and the central government all together. States sometime may be unequal. Not all the states will have the equal power or will not be equal. There could be some unequal states also with less amount of power, right? They may be granted some special power just in case if they don't have very strong powers, right? But they will definitely have some special powers that can actually help them in their development. Center tends to have more powerful in the case of holding together. And the examples, we have our country India, Spain and Belgium. This is very, very important, everyone. Take a screenshot of it, and this is essential for your examination. Now, we are done with the types of federalism. Little more in detail, right? Let's talk about India as a federal country. India is a federal country. Why? Because we have the separation at a different level. We have the union list, state list and the concurrent list. Now, what are these lists? These lists actually tells about the involvement of the government. So, we have the union list. Now, union list is a list which have the topics or the areas that are concerned with the central government. So subjects that are important for the nation or the national importance subjects are under the union list, right? Union central government will be making the laws for it, right? In that we have defense, currency, foreign affairs, banking and the communication. So the union list will have the subjects or the areas that are control, or we can say the central government will be making the rules and the regulations, the policies for it. Then we have the state list. As we have the word state, we know that subject of the state and the local importance will be taken care by the state list. State lists make the laws for the state government, right? State government will be making the laws for the state. Then police, prison, commerce, agriculture and irrigation are some of the topics or the subjects that are there in the state list. The last list that we have is the concurrent list. Now, what we have over here, that subjects that are common to both center and to the state, right? This is very, very interesting altogether. Both the center and the state will be making the laws for it, and any of the conflict, if it's happening, right, the center law will be given more preference to. In this, what we have education, forest, marriage, adoption, and of course when the property is moving to the next succession, right? So all of these things will come under the concurrent list. Again, everyone, 2 marks question, 3 marks question can come from this particular part. So please make sure you take the screenshot of it. Jaldi se everyone, do take the screenshot of this. Yes, very good. Now that we are done with this, let's talk about other important things that we have. In our country, we have some states which have the special power. We clearly mentioned that in the holding together federalism, all the states are not equal. We have some states which are unequal, and of course they are granted special power. And we have this article, which is Article 371, right? And of course, what we have in this article, due to the social and the historical circumstances of that particular place, the development have not been occurred, and it could be due to the geographical reasons also. What happens? The government, for the protection of the land and for the culture, provide them these special conditions or the special the laws, right, that are there for them. So of course we have all of it, and we have the few examples of states like Assam, Nagaland, Arunachal Pradesh. All of these states are the special states, right, and they have Article 371, which gives them additional more power, right? We have union territories in our country. They are not too big to call it as a state, and not too small to become a part of a state. So then that's how the union territories are formed, right? So these are the 2 important points. Central government has a special power over here in running these areas of the union territories. We have Chandigarh, Lakshadweep, Delhi as the few of the example of the union territory. So everyone, that's all about the union territories and the special status to the states. Now moving ahead, we have something which is very important. We're talking about the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. So when we say that India is a federal country, right, what are we discussing over here? We know that there's a power sharing arrangement that is there, and of course it has to be passed from both the, if there is any change in the law or in the policies, both the houses will be getting involved into it. So we have Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, right, and that's how we have total law of it. Everyone, this has become really very important. Now that's all about the federalism, right? That why we call our country as a federalism, because of all of these reasons. But how do we practice it? Over here we have some of the important things, everyone. Linguistic states we have. So we sometimes what happens in our country, we have different regional languages, right? So sometimes what happens, several boundaries of the states, right, changed. The government made sure to change the boundaries of a state, and we saw the formation of a new state so that they can have a similar language, right? So of course we have an example of Andhra Pradesh. Some states were created to recognize the culture that they have, right? And examples are Jharkhand, Nagaland and the Uttarakhand. So the federalism gives the government the power, right? Of course, it's something is there, and the government can actually listen to the people, and based upon the needs of the individual, based upon the language and based upon the culture, right, and the rich heritage that they have, if there's a requirement for the people, and if the people demands, and if the government feels that it will be great for the people, we will see the formation of states. Then let's talk about the language policy. In our country, we don't have a official language, or we can say there's no national language. There is official language, sorry, I just correct myself. We don't have a national language, but we have official language as a Hindi, and of course English is also an official language, which is super important over here for all of us to remember. Besides that, in our country we have 21 other languages which are official, right, which are there, which are 21 other languages are there, and of course we have the 8 schedule languages which are there in a part of the constitution. Then use of the English for the official purpose is definitely there, but we have a small incident which happened in the year 1965. The state of Tamil Nadu, right, demanded that they should not be making not be making Hindi as the official or kind of working language, right, but English should be a part of it. So definitely in our official purpose we use both English and the Hindi. So the official language policy of India continues to promote the Hindi, but definitely English is equally important over here. The central government exams, and the candidates can choose in what they're writing the examination based upon the scheduled languages that are there in the constitution. That's very important. Talking about the state-center relation, what we have over here, the state and the center initially does not share a very great bond or a great relation, but after 1990, right, we saw the beginning of the coalition government, where the two parties are coming together to form the government, and that's how we saw the change in the relation between the state and the center. Now these points are really very important, everyone. I hope that all of you have taken the screenshot of it. Now let's move ahead and let's talk about the practicing federalism. So we have this over here, everyone. You can take the screenshot of it. Quickly take the screenshot of it. It's a brief summary of it. Awesome. Now to the last topic of the federalism, which is the decentralization of the power. So apart from the central government, which holds maximum amount of power, they share the power with the state government. But furthermore, these two governments, right, central government and the state government, share the power with the local government also. This becomes absolutely necessary because the rural government, right, the local government will be able to work better for the people, because they will be able to understand the concerns of the people. So let's understand, everyone, that how this is happening. We have a very important term, that is decentralization. Now what is it? The process of distributing function the power is called as the decentralization. It says the power is being distributed. Now we have rural government over here and the urban government. In rural government, the government that we have in the rural parts, we have Gram Panchayat at the village level. So in the village, right, we will have Gram Panchayat, right, we will have the Sarpanch, the head of it. Then of course we have block level pay. When the few villages are coming together, there will be the formation of the Panchayat Samiti. And of course at the district level we have the Zilla Parishad. In the urban local government, right, in the cities kind of setup, we have the municipality and the municipal cooperation. So these are really very important for the for the growth of the cities and the villages. Moving to the last kind of topic, everyone, over here, the democratic decentralization is India. We have in India, right, we have the sharing of the power over here. Before 1992 elections, right, local government was not have been that much importance. But in the 1992, the constitution changes, right? There were the few changes that happened in the constitution and that make the local government more powerful and effective. So here everyone, there are important points that we should remember. How the government is strengthening the local government. Again, a very important question from the exam point of view over here. How it is happening? There's a conduction of the elections of the local bodies at regular intervals, right? Then seats are reserved for the weaker section of the society. We have scheduled tribes, scheduled castes, and of course other backward castes. Seats are reserved. Then at least 1/3 of the seats are reserved for the women to encourage their participation. The state government are now required to share the power. The state government is sharing the power and the revenue with the local government. The independent state election commission is there, right, which is operated in each state to conduct free and fair election in the local bodies also. And the panchayat are there, right, they actually help in maintaining lots of things. So we have an example of the Kerala state. So with this everyone, we are done with a very quick recap of the 2 chapters. Now we'll be taking a look at the questions, and here we have the first question, which is question number 1. The question is, what percentage of the Belgian population lives in the Flemish region? We have just now discussed, and the correct answer over here is the 59%. So in the Flemish region, we had 59% of the population, right, which speak the Dutch language. And in the Verona region, we had a population which was of 40% and they speak French language. Moving to the next question, everyone. Here we have, which of the following is a major caste group of Sri Lanka? I'll give you some time. Think about it, everyone. You can pause the video just in case we want to answer it. If you want to read the options carefully, read the options carefully. You can pause the video and then give me the answer. Which of the following is a major caste group of Sri Lanka? In options we have Christian and Tamil, Buddhist and Hindu, Sinhals and Tamil and Sinhals and Christian. It's a very clear-cut, easy answer. And the answer over here, the majority, the major caste group of Sri Lanka was Sinhal and the Tamilians. Over here we have the correct answer. Now, question number 2 is done. Moving to the question number 3. Read the question carefully. The question is, modern democracy maintain check and balance system. Identify the correct option based on the horizontal power sharing arrangement. We're talking about the horizontal power sharing arrangement. What we have, that if I'll give you the answer, it will be the answer itself. So you can pause the screen and please do read the options carefully. We're talking about the horizontal power sharing. What we have in the options, we have central government, state government and local bodies. We have legislature, executive and judiciary, among different groups or among different pressure groups. It's a very clear-cut answer. We're talking about the horizontal group of sharing, right? Power sharing, and the correct answer over here is option number B. So question number 3 is done, everyone. It's a very, very interesting question, right? We have the hint in the question itself which talks about the horizontal power sharing. Moving to the question number 4, and we have over here is the accession and the reason. There were tension, I'm just correcting over here, there were tension between the Dutch-speaking and French-speaking communities during 1950s and in 1960 in Belgium. The reason for this is that the French-speaking community, which was relatively rich and powerful, which was resented by the Dutch-speaking community, who got the benefit, economical development and educate much later. So we have to find out which the statement are correct or are not true, or whether the R is a correct explanation for it. And we know that there was a tension between the Dutch-speaking people and the French-speaking people. So that's mean that option number, the statement A, the accession statement is absolutely correct. The R statement is that French-speaking communities were very rich, and that is definitely correct, right? So both the statements are correct, and if you look at the reason of the tension between them is absolutely, the reason is absolutely correct for the reason for the statement A. So here we have option number A is the correct answer. It is a tricky question, but I hope that if you read the question carefully, you will be able to find the answer. Moving to the last question from the MCQ from the power sharing chapter. Who elects the community government in Belgium? That's a very easy answer. Community government we're talking about. So people belonging to the language community. Let me just write over here, to the language community, by the leader of the Belgium, the citizen of the whole country, or the community leader in the Belgium. Now, of course, the community government will be elected by the people belonging to the language community, that particular community. So with this, everyone, we are done with the 5 MCQ question. Now we have 5 subjective questions from the chapter power sharing. Now we have to differentiate between the Belgium and the Mediterranean, like basically the government that we have in the Sri Lanka. This question came in the year 2018. Super important, 2 or 3 marks question it can be. So here everyone, the answer is, now we know that in the Belgium, right? Everyone, please make sure you're taking the screenshot of the answer. In Belgium, we know that all the benefits of the economical development and the education was given to the Dutch-speaking community as well as to the French minority community. So both the Dutch-speaking and the French-speaking communities have a kind of equal share in the economical development and education. Whereas in the case of the Sri Lanka, the government adopted a series of the decisions that are favoring the majority of the population and not the minority. That is a major difference that we have over here. So that was question number 6, everyone. Please make sure you take the screenshot of it. Moving to the question number 7. Explain 2 sets of reasons as why power sharing is desirable. Now this is a one type of question. Now the other way is that they can frame is that why is power sharing desirable, or why is power sharing good for the democracy? Give any 3 suitable arguments. Again, this question came in the examination. Now this question can come in different words, right? Over here we have 3 different types of question, or over here tells you that there are different types of formulation of these questions. Now we'll take a look at it, right? We're talking about explain 2 sets of reasons that why power sharing is desirable. Now we know that 2 important reasons, everyone. First, of course, the prudential and the moral. So our answer will be focusing on these 2 things. So we know that power sharing is desirable for the various reasons, right? We'll write that there are 2 main reasons. We'll mention the prudential and the moral, and then that we'll start adding the points. First, according to the prudential reason, power sharing accommodates social diversity, hence in reducing the friction of the conflict between the social group. Power sharing ensure that the political stability through the competition among the various political parties, even though there's a competition, but it's a competition which is kind of fair to the people, right? Third point talks about that besides the power sharing, right, it is also desirable for the promotion of the national unity and the integrity. When the people are at peace, when the people are not having conflict, right, they will be living together with unity and integrity. So that is really important. Talking about the next part, which is the moral reason, right, we can state that moral reason is a deeper reason of the power sharing, right? Because we understand that power sharing is basically to when there's a power sharing between the government, right? If the government is sharing the power, they become, or we can say they produce more accountability, they show they're responsible, and there's a legitimate government, right? It implies maximum popular participation from the people. This is very important. We have the decentralization of the power also, because we know that when it is there, people are more connected and people would be, consulted that how they want things to move around. In this way, both sets of the reasons signifies the importance of the power sharing. You can end your answer writing that both of these points are equally important. Now, over here, if you look at this question, it's a little bit lengthy. If this question comes for 3 marks, you can probably write just 2 points in each of this and you will be sorted. But if this question comes in your examination for 5 marks, so please make sure to write all of these points. With that, we are done with question number 7. Let's move to the question number 8. What are some of the basic elements of the Belgium model of power sharing? Describe the path of accommodation adopted in Belgium. What were its consequences? Again, a very clear-cut answer, everyone. Do take the screenshot of it. It's a 5 marks long answer. We'll talk about that what other things Belgium did. We saw the 4 changes, right? 4 times the constitution kind of changes that happened in the Belgium. There was an equal distribution of the seats, concept of the federal government, sharing of the power, right? Equal representation in the Brussels, like in the capital city, and community government. All of these points are very, very important. Please make sure you write all of these. Moving to the question number 9, which is a read the passage. So this passage, we have it from the chapter Power Sharing, which talks about that Sri Lanka is an island nation, few kilometers away from the Tamil Nadu coast and has a population of 2 crores. And there's mention about the region, right? The major social group are of the Sinhala speaker, which is 74%. Tamil speaking is 18%. Among Tamilan, there are 2 types of Tamilan. They have Tamil natives of the country are called as Sri Lankan Tamils, which is the 13%. So now let's take a look, everyone, at the question. So if these question comes in your examination also, what we will have, we'll have the paragraph which will be there from our textbook. Based upon reading of that paragraph, we have to answer few points. We have some questions and we have to answer those questions. The question that we have over here is that besides Sri Lankan Tamil, who is another subgroup of Tamils that we have over there? Sri Lankan Tamil, of course, definitely will be the other one, that is the Indian Tamils, right over here. So we have the Sri Lankan Tamils and the Indian Tamils. The next question is, in which part of the country are Sri Lankan Tamils concentrated, right? Of course, over here, if we have this paragraph, you'll be able to find it out, right? And of course, they're concentrated in the region of East. Very good. Next question, everyone. Which of the following statement regarding ethnic communities of the Sri Lanka is incorrect? Very, very interesting question, everyone. Very, very interesting question. Most of the options are, most of the Sinhala speaking people are Buddhist, right? There are about 70% Christian, both are Tamil and Sinhals. Most of the Tamils are Hindus and Muslim, or none of the above. Which of the following statement regarding the ethnic communities of Sri Lanka is incorrect? So of course the incorrect statement over here is that majority of them are the Christians. Okay, this is a very important point that we have. So in this particular question of 4 marks, which is a case-based study, we have 3 questions, right? So we are done with it, and let's move to the last question from the power sharing, question number 10. Differentiate between the horizontal and the vertical power sharing in the modern democracy. A very, very important question, so everyone, please make sure you to take a screenshot of it. Horizontal power sharing and vertical power sharing. We know that in the horizontal power sharing arrangement is such that it's shared among different organs of the government, such as the legislature, executive and judiciary. Whereas in the vertical power, right, different levels there's a shared power, like union government, state government, local government, etc. In horizontal division of the power, different organs of government exercise different powers, right? There's a separation of the powers with them. In vertical distribution, right, clearly lays down the power of a different levels of the government. And they have the other points. They have some specific points where they will be checking the power. And of course, they ensure the concept of the expansion of the democracy. Whereas there's no such concept of check and the balances, right, in the vertical division, because power is clearly given by the constitution from the high to the lower level. Center will have the more power as compared to the local government. And the last point talks about that the vertical division of the power promotes the concept of deepening of the democracy. So these are the 10 questions from the chapter power sharing. Now we'll be taking a look at the 10 questions from the chapter Federalism. Here we have 5 important MCQs. Which of the following is a subject of union list? We have discussed about the different list that we have, and which among these is a list? Which of these subject is there in the union list? We have defense, agriculture, trade and education. We know that in the union list, we will be having the subjects that has a control of the central government, like defense, communication, banking, etc. So here the option A is the correct. So yes, everyone, this question is done. Now let's take a look at the next question, and here we have. So we have accession and the reason. The question is, Hindi is identified as the only official language of the country of India, and it helped in creating supremacy of the Hindi speaking people. We know that statement A is true and statement R is false. So here we have the correct answer. Now moving to the question number 13, we have to match the following. On the one side we have column 1, and on the other side we have column 2. We have union territory, local self-government, coalition government, Zilla Parishad, and then we have the decision making, body of the entire village, and alliance of or more than of 2 parties, representation government body at the district level, an area which is run by the union government. You can freeze the screen, you can pause the video, and then you can answer it. If you talk about it, let's start with something which is really very easy if you have to find the answer. Now, one thing for sure is the easiest is the coalition government. We know that it is the alliances between more than 2 parties, right? Of course, we have the alliance between 2 or more parties. Then we have Jilla Parishad. So let's focus that, Jilla Parishad is something related to the village, to the rural local government. So what we have over here, right, we will have that Jilla Parishad is a representative, right? Of course, what we have over here, we have the representation government body at the district level. Then we have the union territory, right? Union territory, of course, are the areas which are under the run by the union or the central government. That is over here. What are we left with? Local self-government, and that is a decision-making body of the entire village. Based upon this, option number C is the correct answer. Now, let's move to the next question, which is question number 14. Which among these follow the coming together federalism? Very easy. We have the options USA, India, Spain, and Belgium. And the correct answer is USA. It was a very easy question. Let's take a look at question number 15. Which of the following subjects is not included in the state list? Not included in the state list. We have to read the question carefully. We have law and order, national defense, education, and agriculture. So we know that national defense is not under the state list. It is there under the union list. So option number B is not with the state list. So with this, everyone, we are done 5 MCQs from the chapter Federalism. Now let's move to the question number 16. And it's a subjective question for 2 marks. The question is, what are the residual power? And over here we have the answer. So the residual power means the parliament has a right to make laws with respect to the matters that are not mentioned in any of the list, right? Be it the union list, state list, and the concurrent list. So this residual power, the power goes to the parliament, right? And they can make the laws for it. That was question number 16, everyone. Now we have question number 17, which is the case-based study question. We have the paragraph which talks about the exact balance of the power between the central and the state government varies from one federation to the another. This balance depends mainly on the historical context in terms of the federalism was formed. There are 2 kinds of routes through which these federalism have been formed. The first route involves the independent states coming together on their own to form a big unit. So they are, by pooling their powers and retaining their identity, that they can increase their security. This type of coming together federation includes the USA, Switzerland, and Australia. This is the first category of the federation. All the constituted states usually have the equal power and are strong vice versa at the federal government. Now this is a paragraph. We'll be taking a look at the questions now. So here we have the question. What is the second category of the federation called? So one is the coming together. Second, of course, we all know is called as the holding together federation. Moving to the next question that we have over here. It's a lengthy question. We have a longer options. Which of the following statement regarding 2 types of federation is incorrect? So do take a moment, everyone. Read the question carefully. The option A is that second type of federation is where the large country decides to divide its power between the states and the central government. This is absolutely correct, right? In the first category of the federation, all are consecutive. Absolutely correct in the coming together federation. Some units are granted special powers in the second category of the federation. This is absolutely correct. States, some of the states which are not equal will have the special powers. So A, B, C are absolutely correct. So what is incorrect over here? Without a doubt, option number D, which is that the central government tends to be more powerful. Vice versa, the state, more than the state in that first type of federation. That is absolutely incorrect. We know that in the coming together federation, center and the state will have the equal power, right? They have the equal status. So with this, everyone, we are done with this question. Option number D is the correct answer for question number 17. These are the parts that we have. More and less, we have the last part of it, which is which of the following countries are the example of second type of federation? Now we know that, right? We have India there, we have Spain and Belgium. That means that option number B is the correct answer. Moving to the next question, that is question number 18. Now in this particular question, we have to compare the 2 different types of federation. We have coming together and holding together type. And everyone, again, this is very, very important. So take a screenshot of it from the exam point of view. In coming together, of course, we know that independent state will come together. They have their own powers, but they will keep their identity, right? This is very, very important. And over here in a case of the holding together federation, the country will decide to divide its power, right, into the states and to the central power. So this is very important, and of course we have the examples for it. So please do remember the examples. They are very, very important. We have these examples in the in these MCQs question also, so it's very important. Here, everyone, take a screenshot of this. This is a whole answer at one go. And then let's take a look at the question number 19. Describe any three provision of amendment made in Indian Constitution in the year 1992 for making three-tier government more effective and powerful. So basically this question talks about the decentralization of the power. How in the year 1992 there was changes made in the Constitution to give the power to the local government also. What are the changes? What are the things that we have added over there? Here we have the answer for it. First, of course, mandate elections, right? Holding regular elections. Then, seats are reserved for the scheduled tribe, scheduled caste and for the backward caste. 1/3 of it seats are reserved for the women. State election commission are independent over here and they will make sure there's a free and fair election happening. And the state governments will be sharing the financial, right, the revenue that they have and some powers with the local bodies. So these are the changes that we saw in the Constitution in the year 1992 to give more power to the local government. So that's a question number 19, everyone. Last question of our session today, everyone, and here we have describe any 5 features of the federal government. Over here we have the different or question that can come and we'll clearly write the features for it. Right, we have 2 or more level of the government is there. We have the constitutional status, right, guaranteed authorities to each tier, right. We have union list, we have state government, union government and the local government. Then we have independent judiciary. They're very independent in that particular way, right. The judiciary, the independent judiciary is the essence of the federal government, right. They will be playing a very important role. Then we have the financial side of it. In order to provide the more financial support, right, we know that the state government will be sharing the power with the revenue with the local government, and similarly the central government will be sharing some revenue with the state government also. And of course distribution of the power, which is a very, very essential point of the federalism. So with this, everyone, we are done with the 2 chapters revision. Important questions. Now over here we have a very interesting homework question for all of you. Do write the answer in the comment section below. The homework question is, what is Gram Sabha? Describe any 4 functions of it. Very straightforward question. You have to write what is Gram Sabha and the functions of it. With this, everyone, we are done. We are waiting for your answers. So please make sure you write the answer in the comment section below. With this, I'll end my session. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us till the end. We know that, more than we know that, I'm sure you know that we have got you covered. Please make sure to share this video with your friends. Hit the like button for this video if you have enjoyed the class today, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We'll be meeting really very soon. Till that time, do take care of yourself and keep on learning with BYJU'S. Bye-bye, everyone.